Shahada.
What's that?
Shahada means you say the words La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
Declaration.
This is a declaration that you are now coming into the faith of Islam and you will be called as a Muslim.
Okay.
Now there are two components in that. First component, that you said that there is only one God and there is nobody with him. There is no partner with him. And the second part is that the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is his messenger and a servant. If you just believe only one part, you cannot become a Muslim. So when you say this kalma, La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah, it means you surrender yourself to the wish and the teaching of God and the teaching of Prophet Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam in his entirety.
So if you decide at the end of the day, I don't want that faith anymore, when you become an adult and you decide, should you be executed?
No. Let me just explain this thing. This faith is bring inside you and your family peace, tranquility and happiness. You've been told in the Quran about few things that you cannot do that thing. For example, drink. For example, you cannot not eat certain food as well, or you cannot not have this thing. So you need to obey that order. And if you see as a philosophy behind this thing, this is all for your benefit.
Yeah.
The reason I'm saying is that, just one thing I'll complete.
Okay.
Like somebody very genius, he made a car, supersonic car with all the technology. He brought that manual of the car and he's putting on a display here as well in one of the big garage. That gentleman is showing, one of the man brought a lot of money. He said, I want this car. So he said, okay, just demonstrate with me. I don't know a lot of technology. He's explaining this, that thing. He said, okay, open the bonnet as well. And he said, okay, here is the place you put the engine oil. Here you put the gas. You put you put the petrol, not the diesel. And he said, this is a booklet, you go and read as well, but if you don't understand, I'll explain to you. Now, if he's going to put a petrol in the way where he's going to put a diesel, what will happen?
It won't work, yes. It'll damage the whole thing.
So it means what? He's stupid.
No.
Am I right or wrong?
Maybe. But with respect, Tawfiq, because I want to ask Roja with this question as well. If somebody apostatizes, if somebody leaves Islam, they don't deserve to be rejected, do they?
Rejected or executed?
Well, executed and rejected totally. Yes. I mean, I don't believe they're all executed.
Yes. Well, in my opinion, no. I believe in the saying that there is no compulsion in religion, and this is Islamic saying, and there are, you were talking about religious authority and clerics who would be of the same opinion, that even if you do convert to another religion, that doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to cause fitna, chaos. That it could be an individual choice. So why would one be executed because of one's individual choice and fate?
Sorry,
okay,
can I just get in this point?
You can.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Okay. Of course, I can't answer behind the fatwa and research because they can answer about them. But from my knowledge is, now they're talking about a certain point, which is someone he converted from Islam and he's fighting Muslim as well, like he's fighting against
it.
So even in this situation, he can't be just executed as straight away or whatever. There's a judge. He has to go to the judge and he has to go to the law. And after that, what the judge says, it's gonna happen. It's depending about the law in the end. It's
okay. But Mary, you understand the Irish system as well. Can you see why people just get confused and they just don't understand really what is this Islam? And 1 minute it's a religion of peace, and then it talks about executing people who reject Islam.
Well, I think if you look at the whole idea of fatwas and who issues them, fatwa essentially means a legal interpretation or a ruling of some sort based on a particular cleric's or scholar's interpretations of the text. And fatwas are very often very contradictory. So I've seen examples of people who got a fatwa on a personal matter or a family dispute, didn't particularly like the fatwa they got, so they went to somebody else to get another fatwa that suited their purposes more better.
So it's at the whim of the scholar?
Well, you know, basically what we've seen in recent years is kind of an explosion in almost this fatwa industry. In Egypt, you have dial a fatwa phone lines where you can call a sheikh up and ask, you know, is it forbidden to pluck my eyebrows, or is it forbidden to have a tattoo, or something like this. So what's happened is, with this explosion of social media, and that you have all kinds of people issuing all kinds of fatwas, from very, very hardline literal interpretations of the text to very liberal interpretation of the text. If we talk about the European Council of Fatwa and Research, this is a body that was set up several years ago. It is headquartered here in Ireland because Nusaiba's father is the secretary of the organisation, and that's why it's headquartered here in Dublin. It was a body set up to offer advice to Muslims living in Europe. Does every Muslim in Europe observe the fatwas issued by the European Council of Fatwa Research?
Okay,
no.
That's clear. All right.
I know many, well, not many, but I know of a few that have changed, that they haven't been executed, put it that way. In reality, it's different to what's on paper.
And what about jihad then? Because that's another word that we hear bandied around a lot. And on one level, you're saying, for instance, it's about an inner struggle. You mentioned it earlier on, Roja. But what is it? You know, what is it for you,
well,
Sam?
Jihad is well, jihad and martyrdom as well, being what you said, like a shaheed or martyrdom. There's a few different ways that you could be a martyr. It doesn't have to be just by fighting. You know, you can by drowning, you're considered a martyr. By a pain in your stomach that's so powerful that it's killed you, you're considered a martyr. So does a fire, you're considered a martyr.
What about jihad, those who take up arms against other people in the name of Allah?
As you said, jihad is not taking up arms. Jihad is a struggle. So what does that struggle constitute? Is it a struggle, a personal struggle? Is it a struggle with arms? Is it a struggle without arms for the sake of God? And so...
But you see, this is another problem, because you said it's not taking up arms, it's an inner struggle.
No, I didn't say that. No, I said jihad. It can be either. It
can be one or the other.
Jihad, the word, it's the root meaning of the word is struggle.
Okay.
So it's like me saying to you, we're in a struggle, but are we in an armed struggle? Are we in a political struggle? Are we in an inner struggle? So that's what the word means. It's just that the media uses so much for jihad, for synonymous with terrorism, bombs, fighting, all that kind of stuff, that it's stigma to that, but it's not.
But I think, again, we're back to interpretation here. I've met people over the years who have devoted their lives to their interpretation of jihad, which is basically involved fighting in Afghanistan or Bosnia or Chechnya, Syria more recently. And they have claimed to me that Islam, their interpretation of Islam, says that jihad, and by jihad they mean fighting jihad, is the highest point of Islam. And they refer to a hadith, which is a saying purported attributed to Prophet Muhammad for that interpretation. But that hadith, that saying, again, some of those hadiths are disputed, some of them are interpreted in different ways. So I think we should remember that there are people for whom jihad, yes, means essentially struggle. It comes from the Arabic root meaning to struggle, but their interpretation of it is largely a fighting interpretation.
Can I talk to Tawfiq just in terms of, because I do want to talk about this, Sharia. Because Sharia law, for some Irish people, they interpret it as Islamic law, right? And that maybe the Muslims' priority, or their is towards Sharia law, not towards the civil law of the state that they're in. How would you respond to that?
I'll again go back to my faith as well. When the God has brought you in this world, and He has given you the instruction how you have to live the life in this world, to keep the whole world peace and tranquility, then He has given you the instructions through His Prophet and through His manual, which is the Quran, Bible, Torah and Zabur, that you live peacefully. Your neighbors, you can go to paradise if your neighbor is very good with you. And the paradise is in the foot of a mother as well, yeah. This is in hadith as well, yeah. So it's so peaceful as well, but on the same time, the religion Islam keep your society and keep your community very healthy, free of disease. And I'm sure this is the aim for all of you.
But do you get weary then of people misinterpreting Islam then?
True. That's what I was going to come as well about this fatwa reading by different people and saying this different people. What my belief is that if you want to know the true reality about the religion Islam and fatwa, like I'm a neurosurgeon.
Educate yourself.
I passed my final exit exam for neurosurgery at the age of 45 for some reason as well. And then I became the consultant as well. So you learn so many years. It's not that you're reading few books and you become an expert. So it means while you need to spend years and years with right people to know exactly what is the religion Islam means, not by just teaching youngsters, okay, jihad means, okay, you go and fight in those countries. No, this is not the way it has to be. You cannot brainwash your youngsters that they can go and take the weapons and do this thing. Every individual himself needs to learn the religion in detail. Religion Islam is not take the arms. The Prophet Rasulullah did not spread the Islam with arms.
So it's about education.
About the true education, if you can get about Islam in a true institute with the true people as well, who have the true heart about the religion.
Okay, I'm sorry we're going to have to leave it there, but that's all we have time for. I'd like to thank my guests, Dr. Mohammed Tawfiq Abdul Sattar, Noseba Halawa, Sam Najer, Mary Fitzgerald, and Dr. Roja Fazaeli. Next week, we'll be talking about the Angelus on RTE. For some, it's a treasured part of Irish culture. For others, an embarrassing relic, even offensive. So should RTE be broadcasting it? Until then, from all of us here, good night and good morning.